Welcome to a journey back in time, to an era of exploration, conquest and mythology, the Viking Age. This was a time when the world was a vast tapestry of uncharted territories and enigmatic cultures, a time when the northern regions of Europe were home to a seafaring people known for their fierce courage and indomitable spirit, the Vikings. The Viking Age, a period stretching from the 8th to the 11th centuries, was a defining epoch in the history of Scandinavia and the world at large. It was marked by the emergence of the Vikings from their homelands, Denmark, Norway and Sweden, into the wider world. They embarked on epic voyages exploring far-flung lands, from the icy shores of North America to the exotic markets of Asia. These were not just warriors, but also traders and explorers. They were individuals who thrived on the thrill of discovery and the spoils of conquest. Their exploits have been immortalized in sagas and legends, painting a picture of a society that was both brutal and sophisticated, bound by a strong sense of honor and loyalty. But what forged these seafaring warriors? What were the forces that shaped their society and spurred them to venture beyond the known world? These are the questions that we will strive to answer as we delve into the heart of the Viking world. We'll traverse the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, from its towering mountains and deep fjords to its dense forests. We'll examine how the harsh climate and challenging geography shaped the Vikings into hardy survivors, capable of withstanding the most daunting of environments. We'll explore the rich tapestry of Norse mythology, meeting gods like Odin, Thor and Freya, and understanding their significance in shaping the beliefs and culture of the Viking society. We'll reflect on the societal structure, laws and traditions that governed Viking life, providing a window into their world, their minds and their hearts. Join us as we delve into the origins and influences shaping the early Viking society. To understand the Vikings, we must first understand their homeland, the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia. This part of the world, nestled in the northern reaches of Europe, is a tapestry of towering mountains, deep fjords and sprawling forests. Each of these geographical features played a key role in shaping the Vikings, their lifestyle, and their legendary seafaring prowess. Let's start with the mountains. The Scandinavian mountains, an awe-inspiring range that stretches across Norway, Sweden and parts of Finland, were more than just a stunning vista for the Vikings. They provided essential resources such as iron for weapons and tools, and timber from the mountainside forests for building their iconic longships. Yet these mountains also posed significant challenges, with their inhospitable peaks and rough terrains acting as natural barriers, isolating communities and pushing the Vikings towards the sea for trade and exploration. Then there are the fjords, those dramatic sea inlets carved by glacial activity, most prominent in Norway. These natural harbours, surrounded by steep cliffs, provided the perfect shelter for Viking ships. The fjords' access to the open sea facilitated the Vikings' exploration, raiding and trading across Europe. In essence, the fjords were the highways of the Viking Age, leading them to new lands and opportunities. Now imagine the vast, dense forests of Scandinavia, predominantly made up of pine, spruce and birch. These forests were a vital lifeline for the Vikings, providing them with timber for constructing homes, ships and tools, as well as game for hunting and berries for foraging. The forests were both a resource and a refuge, a place of sustenance and survival. However, it wasn't just the geographical features that shaped the Vikings. The climate played a crucial role too. The harsh Scandinavian climate, characterized by long, cold winters and short, mild summers, tested the Vikings' resilience. The cold season could be brutal, with freezing temperatures, heavy snowfall and limited daylight. This in turn affected their agriculture, forcing them to adapt, to become skilled hunters, fishermen and preservers of food. Summer, while short-lived, brought a period of midnight sun with virtually endless daylight hours in the far north. It was a time of growth and abundance, of farming and fishing, but also a time for exploration and raiding expeditions. The contrast between the scarcity of winter and the abundance of summer defined the rhythm of Viking life, their activities, their resourcefulness, and their bold spirit of adventure. In conclusion, the harsh and varied landscapes of Scandinavia were not just a backdrop to the Viking story, but a key character in it. The mountains, fjords and forests shaped their way of life, their survival strategies and their seafaring skills. The climate, with its stark contrasts, bred resilience and adaptability. To truly appreciate the Vikings, one must acknowledge the profound influence of their homeland, a land that was as formidable as it was beautiful, as challenging as it was rewarding. The harsh and varied landscapes of Scandinavia were not just a backdrop to the Viking story, but a key character in it. The Vikings' beliefs, steeped in their rich mythology, guided their actions and coloured their worldview. At the heart of this mythology was a pantheon of gods and goddesses who presided over different aspects of life and the natural world. The most revered among these deities was Odin, the All-Father. A complex and enigmatic figure, Odin was the god of wisdom, war and poetry. He was known to make great sacrifices for knowledge, even giving up an eye to drink from the well of wisdom. Odin's thirst for knowledge and understanding mirrored the Vikings' own quest for exploration and discovery. Next in line was Thor, the thunder god. A fierce warrior with a mighty hammer, Thor was the protector of mankind, a symbol of strength and courage. His battles against the giants, the forces of chaos and destruction, mirrored the Vikings' own struggles against the harsh and unpredictable elements. Among the goddesses, Freyja was one of the most venerated. Goddess of love, beauty and fertility, she was also linked with war and death. Half of those fallen in battle were said to join her in her heavenly field, Folkvanger. This belief underscores the Vikings' deep respect for the warrior ethos and their acceptance of death as a part of life. These gods and their tales shaped the Vikings' values and ethics. Odin's relentless pursuit of knowledge inspired the Vikings to explore unknown territories. The bravery of Thor emboldened them in the face of adversity, while Freyja's dual nature reflected the Vikings' understanding of life's complexities. Moreover, the Vikings believed in destiny, a concept embodied by the Norns, three goddesses who spun the threads of fate. This belief in an ordained fate, or weird, made the Vikings fearless in exploration and combat. They believed that their fate was already decided, thus they approached life with a boldness that is legendary even today. Mythology also shaped their view of the afterlife. The bravest warriors were believed to join Odin in Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, to feast and prepare for the final battle at Ragnarok. This belief fostered a culture where death in battle was a glorious end, further fueling their fearlessness. Religion was not a separate sphere for the Vikings, but a part of their daily life. The gods were invoked for everything, from embarking on voyages to sowing seeds, and from crafting weapons to brewing ale. Festivals were held to honor the gods, the changing seasons, and to ensure good fortune. The Viking world was one where the natural and the supernatural, the human and the divine, were closely intertwined. Their mythology and religion were not mere stories or rituals, but the lens through which they viewed the world and their place in it. Beyond the stereotypical image of fierce warriors, the Vikings had a complex social structure and a rich cultural tapestry. Their society was far from primitive. It was layered, intricate and steeped in tradition, reflecting the depth and diversity of their cultural values. At the top of this social hierarchy stood the Jarls, the nobility. These were the wealthy and influential leaders, often involved in politics and warfare. Beneath them were the Carls, the free citizens who composed the majority of the Viking population. They were farmers, craftsmen and traders, integral to the functioning of the society. At the bottom rung were the thralls or slaves, often prisoners of war or people who had fallen into debt. But what's fascinating is that Viking society was not a rigid construct. There were opportunities for social mobility. A thrall could gain freedom, and a carl could potentially rise to the status of a jarl through valor in battle or successful trade. One of the most notable aspects of Viking society was their legal system. They had a form of democratic assembly known as the Thing. Here, free men gathered to make decisions, settle disputes, and enact laws. It was a community affair, emphasizing the importance of collective decision-making and justice in Viking culture. Now let's delve into the cultural aspects. Vikings were renowned for their art, poetry, and craftsmanship. Their artwork, often intricate and symbolic, was a fusion of abstract and realistic styles. It was mostly decorative, adorning everything from their weapons to their ships, reflecting their aesthetic values. Poetry was another significant part of Viking culture. Skaldic poetry, composed by court poets known as skalds, was a popular form of entertainment. These poems were complex and metaphorical, often praising kings and warriors or recounting heroic tales. It shows their love for storytelling and their appreciation of linguistic artistry. Craftsmanship was also a crucial part of Viking society. They were skilled blacksmiths, woodworkers, and textile artists. Their craftsmanship not only catered to their practical needs, but also served as a mode of artistic expression, showcasing their creativity and attention to detail. Despite their reputation as fierce raiders, Vikings had a softer, more creative side. They valued art, storytelling, and craftsmanship, reflecting a society that was not just focused on warfare and trade, but also appreciated beauty and creativity. In conclusion, Viking society was a complex, layered structure with a rich cultural tapestry. They were not just warriors or traders, but also poets, lawmakers, and artisans. Their social hierarchy, their democratic assembly, their legal system, and their cultural practices all played a significant role in shaping their identity and their way of life. The Vikings were not just raiders and traders, but also poets, lawmakers, and artisans, reflecting a society that was complex, vibrant, and multifaceted. The Viking Age, a period of exploration, conquest, and cultural exchange, was shaped by numerous factors. As we have journeyed through the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, we've discovered how the harsh geography and climate were instrumental in shaping the early Viking communities. The mountains, fjords, and forests were not just a backdrop to their lives, but a daily challenge, forging a people known for their resilience and adaptability. This physical world was mirrored by a rich spiritual one. The Norse gods and their realms, from the wise Odin to the mighty Thor, were more than just deities to the Vikings. They were a reflection of their values, their fears, and their aspirations. This mythology shaped the Vikings' worldview, influencing their actions and their interactions with the world around them. And what of the Viking society and culture itself? It was a complex and nuanced tapestry, woven from threads of exploration, trade, and warfare, underpinned by a strong sense of community and a fierce respect for personal honor. This societal structure was not static, but evolved over time, influenced by the Vikings' interactions with other cultures and their own internal dynamics. In conclusion, the Viking Age was a fascinating period of history, shaped by the interplay of physical, spiritual, and societal factors. The Vikings were not just raiders or traders, but a diverse and dynamic people, shaped by their environment, their beliefs, and their society. Their legacy is not just found in the rune stones or longships they left behind, but in the echoes of their culture that can still be felt today, in our language, our laws, and our literature. The Vikings, with their spirit of adventure, resilience, and rich cultural heritage, continue to captivate our imaginations, centuries after their longships vanished over the horizon.